Hello, welcome to my third episode of the Horse Isle 3 Beginner's Guide. In this episode, we're going to go over gathering, crafting a little things at your ranch, and maybe a little extra stuff if we have time. So I right now, as you can see, am in the Mediterranean biome. This is the best place to harvest trees for wood. The trees here give you the most wood for the energy you spend cutting it down. It costs, without the harvester tome, it costs 66 energy to cut down each tree. Wow, I really cannot catch this wild right now. There we go. Okay. Anyways, these trees, these pine trees, these are the best trees in the game to harvest for wood. They give you anywhere from 4 to 8 pieces of wood per cut. And, like I said, just the most efficient way to gather. If you're going to come to an area and cut down a bunch of trees or deforest the area, please make sure you are not near a club or a player ranch. People do not like their trees being cut down. People who own clubs or have ranches out in the middle of nowhere, they spend a lot of time trying to find the perfect spot to build on. And so when people just travel in and go right outside of their boundary and just start hacking away at the trees, that's not a very good way to make friends. I do not recommend doing that. So please make sure if you're going to deforest an area that you are out in the middle of nowhere. So like the spot I'm at right now is a quick save travel spot I found early on in the game. There are no clubs nearby, no ranches nearby, and the spot's saved purely just to harvest trees. Now the other thing I wanted to show you guys here is these mushrooms with red caps. They give you leather. So leather is going to be very important if you're wanting to craft tack. And even other items, a few other items require leather, like clothing items, things like that. Same thing applies here. If you're gonna go take a bunch of leather off of mushrooms, make sure you're not next to a club or a player ranch. So that is leather. The third thing in this area that you are going to need for crafting is cotton. And cotton looks like this. It's only found in the Mediterranean biome, and you get a couple pieces per harvest, per plant, as you can see. Oh, there it is. So go ahead and pick those up while you're out cutting down trees. Also, if you see mini games like this, highly recommend doing it, because again, it's going to give you essence, gold dust, and player points. Definitely worth your time. And they're usually not hard to do. So once you've gathered some of those materials, there's other materials like flax. You'll probably need flax. That is found in alpine and savanna. And everything else you're going to need to craft is going to be found in caves. So we will get to that another time. I'm not gonna go through all the caves right now. That would be a torturous process for you guys. But And come over here, and when you've gathered wood and stone to start building your ranch, and you bought your first parcel, and you have your house down, when you go to build, it's going to require that you build your house first. After that, you can build any structure that is available to you. So just kind of plop your house down, and then you can rebuild it later if you need to move it. But these are the 3 crafting stations. This is the furnace, you have your textiles, and then you have your workshop. So we will start with the furnace, and this is going to take coal to fire up, which is found in caves. Once it's going, you can craft, and these are the different items you can craft here. These are the materials it requires, so you can go through that. And if you want any of these, like calcium lime, you need sorry, I don't remember the function of that. I was thinking of soda ash. Soda ash you need to bleach clothing or attack or items back to white if you want to re-dye them. Coffee, roasted coffee beans. I don't think I have any. Yeah. These give your horse a little bit of stamina restoration. So like if you're about to go in a competition or something, or your horse is getting tired, you can craft these and feed them. It's a very, very small amount, so it usually takes like 20 to 50 to really make a difference. But if you want to do that, you can. Ores, all of these are going to be found in caves, like I already said. You're going to need a lot of iron, so definitely go and gather a bunch of iron. If you're not sure where to find it or what cave it's in, you can reference the library. So that is the furnace, and then the workshop is where you craft tack, more advanced items, so like your horse leg accessories. There's your leather and wool bolts. Wool you don't gather anywhere, you can only get that from club importer stores, and so you have to go visit a club and purchase it from there. And then, like I said, you're going to need a lot of iron for crafting, so I highly recommend harvesting that. You have your English tack, your regular sets, your monotone sets, and of course your ornate. Same thing with Western, regular Western bridle, monotone Western bridle, saddle, monotone ornate, and then as you can see, the only Western saddle pad is still just the regular one. You can also make like your boots, things like that. This is rubber tree sap. Rubber trees are found in the jungle biome, and those require these tree taps. So you stick this in a tree, and 24 hours later it's full of sap. The only trees you can put this in are maple trees, rubber trees, and dragonblood trees found in the Black Sands biome. You can craft jewelry. Again, take stuff from caves to make that, just a nice little accessory. Paper products, I've mentioned before, taking pictures of things such as breeds, animals, plants, things like that to get quest points. You're going to need a lot of photo kits for that, and to get that you need paper, which is made from papyrus. That is found in oasis biomes, which is a subbiome of desert. They're the green grassy areas, and they're usually in mirror pools or like big areas of water. So you're going to need that to make paper, and you use a lot of paper to make the photo kits. It also takes caribou moss, which is found in the tundra, red algae, which you need a shovel to get. You have to dig this up from the volcanic biome. And then you also need silver ore, which is also in the volcanic biome, but it's in the caves. So that is that. That pretty much covers your workshop station. Moving on, textiles. Textiles is going to be all your clothing, all your fabric bolts. So before you do anything else, you're going to need to come here and make a bunch of this stuff. Silk bolts are mainly only used for English tack. You're going to need a ton of wool bolts, as you probably saw, for just about everything. Felt bolts you use for some of the clothing items, and then, as I previously mentioned, gathering all that cotton for cotton bolts. Clothing bottoms, clothing tops, cute little horse accessories, and of course your cute little horse hats. So that's all the stuff you can craft at your ranch via these 3 buildings. Definitely worth investing in. They're just nice to have, so along your adventures you just kind of naturally collect all the items to craft, and when you run out of tack, you need a new set, or you decide you want a new style of clothing, you can just run back to your ranch and usually you'll have what you need to make it. The other thing we will do is you can craft at a club tower, and it doesn't have to be your club tower, it can be any tower. So, cooking oil, marshmallows, apple pie, they're all edibles. This super feed is very beneficial and very valuable. As you can see, it costs 1 of each of these, and each of those cost all of these ingredients. So it's very labor intensive, very tedious to get. There's a lot of ingredients involved in it from a lot of different biomes. You're just gonna have to research. These 3 items, the beets, carrots, and corn, you don't gather. You can only buy them from other players, or you grow them in your garden that you can build at your ranch. I'm not going to get into all of those right now. Like I said, if you want to research where they're from, you don't know, you can go to the library and look at it, or you can just stumble across them naturally out in the wild. But I strongly recommend making these. These fill your horse's hunger, thirst, stamina, all of these bars, except for mood. It fills that about halfway, I think. Let me see if I can find one that's low. I just fed all my horses, so I'll use him. So for example, you can see his stamina bar is pretty low, thirst is a little low. It's not really a good example. Groom and mood are empty, so if I go here, I go to feed, and I go all the way down to find my super feeds, give it to him, and you can see all the bars are full. Groom is the one it doesn't fill, which is fine. You can pull out your brush using G and brushing, and it'll fill that pretty quickly. So that's the craftables. You can also make treats here. When you're making treats, this is a whole process to find your horse's favorite treat. When you do find your horse's favorite treat, you will become their favorite human. So for example, this fella, history, favorite human is me. That's because I found his favorite treat. I like to record them in their profiles down here. So these are the flavors I used. Their favorite treat should only ever take 4 flavors. I think like once or twice I used 5, but that was a long time ago, and I'm not sure if I was good at making treats at that point, so. But anyways, when you do this, it doesn't matter what ingredient you put in to make that flavor. I usually just do whatever I have the most of, so if I wanted to make it fatty, fruity, I do that one, grainy, I don't know, savory treat. So I've got 4 flavors in there. You can put up to 5, and then it locks you out basically. And then if you had to make it, you could do that. And then if you're working on this and you find your horse's favorite tree, you can go back in here and you can make that same tree again. And it's useful. Again, this is where your prefixes are. These are basically brands for your horses. As you can see, my next one is going to cost a lot of essence. They start out very cheap, and just like everything else in this game, get progressively more expensive as you get more and more. So that's what you can craft here. Again, if you wanted to buy stuff, you could do that. For example, super feed. They go for quite a bit of money. That's the price per one. So it's a good way to make money. It's just, like I said, very labor intensive, which is why they're so expensive. And that's that.